guys, it's JJ here from Forever Flying, and today I have another video for you guys. We are going to be doing a tutorial on how to do a box cutter. A box cutter is a hypercork with a little bit more rotation and a hook kick on it. It's like Cheat 7 and hypercorks infused together. The prerequisites for this move that I would recommend would be being able to do a hypercork really confidently, really comfortably, having a good setup for it. Also being able to do a Cheat 720 like really good, so that you're able to kind of manipulate it whilst you're in the air and you know exactly where you are, where you're chambering your leg, where you're kicking it out, etc. So first of all, we're going to warm up your prerequisites. So you're going to warm up your Cheat 7s and your hypercorks. But when you guys do the Cheat 7, I really want you to think about the kick that is in that Cheat 7. I want you to think about your extension, where you launch your kick in relation to your rotation, as the kick in a box cutter is going to be pretty much the same position as it will be for a Cheat 720, because a box cutter is basically just a swing 7 slightly inverted. That's all it is. So Cheat 720s, more so the kick in it, and box cutters are really closely related. A key factor is that when you do your Cheat 7, there's lots of focus on the kick. You worry less about your step and you're not so focused about your spin because it just happens naturally, but you're really focusing on that kick. So when you come up, you see the target and you just whack it out. That's hopefully what we're going to apply to do the box cutter, because when you see a really good box cutter, it has a fat kick on it, like massive, yeah? So lots of focus on that kick. Once you've warmed up with both those moves, now we're just going to do a little bit of alteration to your hypercork. So normally you'll just throw your standard hypercork, but this time when you're doing them, I want you to think about trying to land with your hips as open as possible. So normally you will land square on, but I want you to land 1 foot square on, but rather than your hips being straight ahead, you're going to turn them slightly to the side, because effectively if I take off facing this way, my hook kick is going to come out that way. And also it's going to really help you if you're able to chamber that knee that is going to be your hook kick leg for your box cutter, because it's just going to get you used to that feeling of chambering it. And when your hips do open and if your knee is still chambered, it's going to give you a good idea of when to throw your kick out. Once you do your takeoff for your hypercork, make sure that you're really ripping into that spin and try to chamber that knee as early as you can. You should get to the point where doing this and doing your hypercorks with a chambered knee, trying to land with your hips open, is super comfortable. Once you're able to do that really comfortably, now it's time to extend your kick and get a proper box cutter. So with the first couple of attempts, you're probably just going to experiment on where you're going to throw your kick out, or where you're going to put force into throwing your kick out, because I know a lot of people will just kind of go through motion, just stick the leg out in hope that it's it. But after you experiment a couple of times, you should be able to find your sweet spot for the kick, and also you get more comfortable with the timing of everything. So for a box cutter, the spin rotation is about 1 1/4 spins. It's not quite 1 1/2, but it is kind of 1 1/4, because if I take off facing you, like I said earlier, my box cutter is going to come out here, but I have to do 1 rotation first. So effectively my right leg, which is the hyper leg, is going to be this way, but my hook kick leg is going to be this way. So when you kick, it should be like Cheat 7 position, almost like 1 leg up, 1 leg down. The faster that you make your initial spin, so your spin rotation in the box cutter, the easier it's going to be to get your kick out, because you're going to get to that position where you're ready to launch your leg out and do that kick a lot earlier in the move. Ideally, you want to have that spin done and you want to be in that position where you're ready to throw out the kick about midway through the move. Basically, you want to be in that position when you're at like max height, so that when you're at that max height, you have all that room to do the kick and you don't have to focus on any further rotation. So yeah, get that spin done as fast as you can and get that kick out as fast as you can as well, but make sure that when you do kick it out, you kick it out nice and straight. A key factor to doing a box cutter is that hip opening that I spoke about earlier, because when I see people struggling with box cutters or even hyper hooks, it's because they don't allow their hips to open. They try and land square on and throw a kick out here. So when I land and I'm trying to do a hyper hook or a box cutter, if my hips are square on, my hook kick is really limited to here, and it's going to end likely around this portion. Whereas if I can turn my hips sidewards, I have so much more freedom with my kick, and it's not going to be as strenuous. It's going to be a lot easier to get a higher kick and it's also going to be able to give that kick a little bit more of a curve when you do throw it out. So just make sure that when you are doing this move that you're not trying to stop dead on that one spin. Make sure that you're able to do a hypercork first and land one foot and continue to open your hips, and then you want to replicate that motion when you do the box cutter, because yes, it is one cork, but you need that extra mobility, so turning your hips slightly to the side as you land or even before you land is going to make that kick a lot easier and it's going to look a lot better. So just a quick run through of the tips that we've gone through. When you take off, you need to spin as fast as you can to the point where you're ready to kick your leg out. You want to be in that position roughly midway through the trick, and then you want to make sure that when you do launch your kick out, it's out straight and that you continue to open your hips as you finish your kick. And then finally, if you point your toes, it just adds to extension and makes the trick look a lot better. You don't have to do that, but I like to do it in my tricks, and I know a lot of other people like to see it in tricks because just nice extended tricks, it just looks cool, you know. But anyway, that is how to do a box cutter. I hope everything that I've said to you has made sense, and as always, if you have any troubles or issues, make sure you leave a comment down below. Hopefully this video has helped you to learn or improve your box cutter and have a better understanding of the move. Make sure you leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.